Welcome back to New Rockstars. This is The Big Question. It's the show that gives you too much information about those characters who foolishly roll into our uncanny valley where they incur the wrath of fans armed with math. I'm Erik Voss. Here, joining me, filling in for Philip Molina, is Marina Mastros.
Philip ripped his shirt, so he's had to stay home and sew it back together.
It's good. You'd think you'd just have tons of shirts on him at all times
No,
for
he
when
only-
that inevitably happens.
It happens all the time, but he likes to sew.
He's a sewer.
He's a sewer.
He's a sewer and a shower. Speed's the name of the game today, Marina, so hit me with the big question.
The big question is, Erik, how fast can Sonic run?
Oh, he can run pretty fast. And it's pretty deadly, it turns out. So let's talk about Sonic's speed now that his film is coming. It's on us. It's upon us. And he's all over us. All right, Sonic's speed is, let's be honest, it's a primary thing people think about or care about with him. His name, Sonic, is taken from the term sonic boom, which is what happens when a moving object goes faster than the speed of sound and it creates this shock wave called a sonic boom. And a sound barrier is hit at 767 miles per hour. And traditionally, that speed, the speed of sound, has been reported as Sonic's top speed. That's why he's called Sonic, and that's been traditionally his speed in the games. Yeah, obviously, his main move is to curl into a ball and run into stuff. So he's deadly. He's a deadly speedster. And that's what his move is just to roll through you, unless there are spikes. And if he touches them, he loses all of his rings. Now, this Sonic movie appears to be doing some real freaky shit with Sonic's abilities. And this is aside from the freaky appearance that he had in the original trailer. So Sonic in this movie, it appears, can throw a ring that opens a portal that allows him to teleport.
Like Roger Rabbit!
Like Roger Rabbit. Cool. And that's a lot of the humor of this movie, right? Like a fish out of water cartoon character going around the real world. Blah, 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 what? What? How did he get here? He comes from his game world that seems to be based on the Sega games, and he spills into our world, and the power that he has seems to be a target by nefarious entities who want to use it for weapon purposes. So when he is moving, you can see in the trailer and in all the footage clips you've seen, he gives out this electrical energy, right?
Cool,
and this looks like the Speed Force that you see with the Flash, you know, when he runs it, and that allows him to like screw around with timelines and change history and stuff. Sonic's case, he has his own mythology, and it's called the Chaos Energy. So it's an energy force that emits from Sonic, and it emits from every Chaos Emerald, and it allows ones to turn your thoughts into power. It's kind of like their force, you know? It surrounds everything and binds everything. And it's really kind of like the central energy source for all the games. So like Sonic and his buddies use the positive side of it for good, and then other bad guys use the negative side of Chaos Energy for evil purposes.
Like you do.
Like you do. I mean, you really should just use it for evil. You can do so much more. So much more.
The dark side of the Force is a pathway to many abilities.
Maybe this movie will call this energy force Chaos Energy, like Sonic leaves a hair behind and then Robotnik shocks his tongue on it. 'Cause, you know, you lick a hair when you find it.
I do.
That's the only way you know whose it is. This Chaos Energy, if we're going to call it that, emits from Sonic when he moves too fast. And in the footage we've seen,
you're too slow.
He runs around the bases when he plays baseball by himself because he's lonely and does a lot of things by himself. It releases this power surge that knocks out the power grids for the entire Pacific Northwest. Now, remember that, because it comes back later. It's actually not a good thing that happens. He rolls and it releases the Chaos Energy that knocks over a speed truck.
A speed truck?
I meant to say a tank truck, but this is one of those speed trucks. It moves real fast, you know, instead of those slow trucks.
Yeah, right.
So what does all of this tell us about Sonic's actual speed? Well, a scene from the movie does clock him at moving 760 miles per hour past the speedometer, which is 7 miles per hour shy of breaking the sound barrier. So it's probably like, oh, he can move just at the cusp of the sound barrier. Seems traditional. However, there is another scene that shows him clearly breaking the sound barrier, releasing a sonic boom shockwave that devastates the surrounding terrain. And we learned in our Hulk Thunderclap episode that if you are beside a sonic boom in close proximity to it, the decibel level alone will cause the air to be pressurized and cause you to cough up blood and potentially choke on blood. So that's not safe for anything within the proximity of that sonic
So
boom.
are pilots just wearing like crazy headphones? Like
When pilots go through a sonic boom, they are moving at the sonic boom.
They're going ahead of it.
So they aren't in the surrounding area. But yeah, there are some low-flying jets that can like shatter glass and stuff from the sonic boom.
Crazy.
Okay, but what's even crazier is
You
Sonic.
look so stressed out.
Because I know where this is going, and I'm worried.
Bring it on.
Because Sonic games tend to just increase his relative speed depending on what the storyline of the game requires him to move.
Yeah.
So in Sonic Unleashed, some checkpoints clock Sonic at 2,887 miles per hour, but further increased to 3,000 miles per hour.
So everyone's dead?
So everyone is dead if he moves at that speed.
No!
The Sonic Adventure DX manual lists Sonic as potentially double hypersonic. So hypersonic is in excess of Mach 5, which is 3,840 miles per hour. So double that, 7,680 miles per hour. So let's back up from the numbers here and put this in context that we can understand.
Yeah.
So have you seen The Boys on Amazon?
Oh, I saw the first episode.
And that's all you need to know because the opening scene of the
Yeah,
series
yeah.
shows A-Train running through a woman. Now, A-Train is a speedster like the Flash, and the numbers that they've given him is later when he does that test track thing, the announcer says he can run in excess of 1,000 miles per hour. That's Mach 1.3.
Okay.
And so we saw what he did to Robin. Should we actually reenact what happened?
Yeah.
So they're holding hands.
Yep.
And then
Wait, who am I?
I'll be Robin.
Okay.
Oh, you have those stupid Billy Joel posters.
Move in with me.
Well.
And then blood is on my
I'm in hell now.
It's in my eyes. It's in my eyes. Oh, it's in my mouth.
And then what does he do? He
The-
screams.
Oh yeah.
That was pretty fun.
And that's just at 1,000 miles per hour. Imagine 7 point.
But he still has her hands, right?
Still has her hands. So the rest of her body blown to smithereens. A-Train's movement and his speed was visible. You know, you still saw a blur that swiped Robin out of frame. Here's where things get crazy for Sonic here.
Oh my god.
One scene depicts Sonic freezing time in the movie. So there's that shot where missiles are closing in on him.
Yeah.
If you look closely, those missiles are not even moving. He's tapping his foot, he swats them all down like they're whack-a-moles. Their missiles aren't even moving ever so slowly. There's no pixel difference. Like in X-Men and Days of Future Past,
Everything's just
and
going
Flash
really
and
slow.
Justice League, it's ever so slowly. You can see things moving. And if he were to just let like bullets fly, they eventually would hit people. But so he has like plenty of time, but he didn't freeze time like like Father Time. But you know what's crazy? This is actually consistent with Sonic's abilities in the game.
Oh.
Because
What the?
he develops the ability to move at light speed and to freeze time.
Shut the
You
fuck
hear
up.
my voice crack because I'm scared. He gets the power to do the Lightspeed Dash. He uses a Lightspeed shoes, which is just really, really fast.
Yeah.
It's still visible. It's
Right.
considered he can move at light speed. In order for Sonic to move so fast that, from his perspective, time is standing still, inversely, he must be moving at a speed that, from the outside world's perspective, is so fast that his movement cannot be perceived by the naked eye.
Right.
Want to see me run to that mountain and back? You want to see me do it again?
Yeah.
So how fast do you have to move for that to be the case? Well, the perceiver's brain would have to not have enough time to process any light reflecting off the object. And they've done experiments with Air Force pilots that they were still able to recognize an image of a plane in the far, far distance that was flashed on a screen for as little as 1/220th of a second. So for it to be invisible, a passing object would have to flash before your eyes at, for the most, 1/250th of a second before your brain never picked it up.
Oh, you.
Why?
Because that's too fast.
It's too fast. So for something to be moving so fast that it's invisible, the numbers are it must be moving at least 17,500 meters per second or 38,146 miles per hour.
So if he's running the dirt underneath him, like he just destroys the planet.
Oh yeah,
every time he does it.
Because the force that is applied to
the kinetic
anything
energy,
he touches
you just
causes things to explode around him. That's where we get to with Lightspeed. Obviously, Lightspeed is truly imperceptible. When you turn on a light, you don't see the beam move across the room. It's instantaneous, unless we're in that scene in The Mummy where they angle the mirrors around and like the beam of light comes through and it goes the slow old man beam of light. So Lightspeed, super fast, obviously. The fastest thing we know of is 670,616,629 miles per hour. So if Sonic could travel at the speed of light, he could run around the Earth 7.5 times in 1 second. That's if he has light speed according to, I mean, this is why you gotta be careful just throwing around, oh, you can run at light speed, because that's insane.
7.5 times in one, I gotta go.
Because he's already murdered you. It's too
I gotta
late.
go, guys.
You're dead. We were talking about the poor dirt. Well, what about the poor living things that he passes? Studies have been done to research what would happen if one were hit by a bullet just moving at 1% of the speed of light, which is about 6.7 million miles per hour. Now, the bullet in real life would explode if it was moving that fast, and that's what should happen to Sonic's body.
Right,
but
but
he's got that
super.
He's got that chaos energy, whatever.
And he has those shoes.
Oh, I broke his legs. Look, he's just tired.
I'll fix him.
Thank you. Let's give him a rest. Here, give him a thing to.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Here you go.
There.
So hypothetically, a bullet moving at 1% of the speed of light would be a projectile with over 46.9 terajoules, which is over half of the energy expended by the atomic bomb over Hiroshima, which was 67 terajoules. So at just 1% of light speed, Sonic's movement would create an impact blast that could level a small city. But it gets worse. Other thought experiments have explored what would happen if Superman punched you at the speed of light. Now, assuming Superman's fist is about 300 grams, and he could move at 99% of the speed of light, that would equate to 190 quadrillion joules, which is 2,800 times more powerful than Hiroshima. That's a temperature of 144 trillion degrees Fahrenheit. So Sonic is listed as 35 kilograms, so if he hits something at light speed, he would obliterate a small country and murder millions of people.
Like they would turn into glitter.
To use our favorite example, they would be Sarah Connor and T2 and would just turn into dust immediately. Coming back to this whole thing of the Pacific Northwest power grid being shut down, because we don't know if the rules are applied, but we do know what happens when grids of power get out. People die. A Reddit user, when the first trailer came out, studied the shot of the power grids throughout the Pacific Northwest, including places like Seattle, Portland, Vancouver, estimated that according to medical and demographic data, hospitals in that region would have a total of 491 newborn babies connected to life support at the time of Sonic's power outage. 491 babies died because Sonic wanted to play himself in baseball.
Shoot.
That's how fast this guy moves.
Oh
to summarize, if Sonic runs past you on a country road at his top speed, it will at best cause you to choke on blood. At worst, will fry you in a thermonuclear blast.
And everyone else within a country-sized radius.
And even if it's just chaos energy that emits and they don't apply the rules of physics to his speed,
well, they can't.
Hundreds of babies are gonna die.
Like, you can't have this be a movie. Like, now, the internet saved us once, right, from his human teeth. But now the internet has to save us again from, what is the word for killing all of humanity? Specieside?
I think it's,
like,
Like, genocide's the word for that.
But it's
Planeticide?
Yeah, planeticide, earthicide, like, this motherfucker is gonna kill us all.
You know, now I'm kind of siding with Jim Carrey's Robotnik.
If I see this movie, and when I see this movie, I will be screaming throughout the whole thing and be like, no!
What about the babies? Well, there you have it. Sonic's speed is immeasurable and deadly as
Oh my God.
Yahoo!
Well, hey, before we continue with some more bite-sized questions from Marina, it is February now, and one of my New Year's resolutions in 2020 was to start being smarter about how I use my money. I have so little of it, so I have to be smarter. 2020 is the perfect time to start thinking about 2040. With Robinhood, you can invest in the markets and earn interest with a competitive APY on uninvested cash. They make it easy to get started and learn as you grow with an intuitive app experience and no commission fees on trades. funds. And stock prices don't have to hold you back. You can buy a piece of a company you love for as low as $1 and build your portfolio a little bit at a time. Buy 1 share, buy half a share, 3 1/4 shares. It's up to you, your budget, and your goals. Your first stock is on the house when you set up your account. Go to bigquestion.robinhood.com to learn more and claim your free stack. Annual percentage yield, APY, on uninvested cash is paid by program banks and is variable. Robinhood Financial is not a bank, and the free stock offer is subject to terms and conditions. All investments involve risk. Other fees may apply. Just visit rbnhd.co/fees.
I actually have a Robinhood.
Oh, yeah?
I did get a free stock.
Oh yeah, see?
I just did the app and it was like, do you want free stock? And I was like, yes. Now it's on my phone and I have free stock.
And you have free stock. We have a success case right here. And
Yeah.
you're a millionaire now, right?
Oh, I'm a millionaire, yeah.
You're sitting on a pile of money.
This is not a chair, it's a pile of money.
Thanks, Robin Hood. Okay, let us now move on to some more bite-sized questions that Marina's gonna nibble on first.
With my claws. With my tiny claws.
Austin Chavis asks, what happened to Luke's green lightsaber in Return of the Jedi?
Okay, so in Return of the Jedi, Luke throws the saber away when he's like, I'll never join the dark side. And
Yeah, I
it goes
remember
boop,
that.
and then you can hear it clatter. There's a clatter so it doesn't go over the edge. You can hear it go toot toot, just like that. Boop. Vader kills the Emperor, Luke gets it back, presumably because it's just like over there somewhere. In The Last Jedi, Luke has it in the flashback
Oh, that's right, yes.
with Ben Solo. In The Rise of Skywalker, Luke is using it when he's training Leia, so it's there as well, so
that's
he's
right, yeah.
obviously kept it. When Rey hands Luke back his original lightsaber, which is blue, he takes it and he throws it away. We can assume that when he has the green lightsaber and he gives up being a Jedi and he's like, I'm gonna sit on this island forever, that he throws it away too.
So he's like a baby when you hand him a toy. He's gonna throw it. Don't hand him that lightsaber.
He's like a baby with a pacifier and he's like,
Puh.
and he just
Another,
spits it out.
please.
This is non-canon, okay? But Mark Hamill, as inspiration for himself, like just as an actor, he said that in his mind, he made up this story where he meets a single mom and potentially we don't know. I don't know. I mean, it goes against his like vows, but Anakin did that too. So maybe he maybe Palpatine Anakin and Luke.
We know Yoda
We know.
We don't know if he
We don't know. And so, what are we talking about? Oh yeah. So he meets a single mom. This mom has a kid, and the kid gets a hold of Luke's green lightsaber and accidentally kills himself. Like if you give a kid a gun, like they don't know what it is.
the kid finds a gun in your house.
Right.
it's
So if you're
recipe
if
for
you pick up a
disaster.
lightsaber and you're looking down the barrel
Yeah.
of a lightsaber and then you press the button.
That's horrible.
You know.
But that's non-canon, right? That's just Mark
That's
Hamill's
totally
like, this is my
non-canon.
backstory that'll motivate my emotional.
It motivated him for his emotional state. And so in his mind, he was like, then he destroyed that lightsaber out of guilt. We know what happened in Mark Hamill's mind to it, and we know that he has his character has a tendency to throw things away. So it might be in the ocean.
Yeah, get some scuba gear.
Maybe
And,
those nuns that are on the island
the caretakers.
find it.
Yeah, maybe they have it somewhere. They were just fucking around with it. Okay, Deathstroke 4769 asks, in Captain America Civil War, during Peggy Carter's funeral, one pallbearer has gray hair. Could that be old Cap? I remember this one.
Okay, yeah. No. Next question. No,
okay.
no, just kidding. So it looks like it could be Cap from the back, but a set photo actually shows us the front side, and it's a totally different actor. He has a mustache.
Okay.
It's a different person. However, you could argue like, oh, maybe it's Cap in
Cap
disguise.
with a mustache?
Like he parted his hair on the other side. Maybe he got a mustache to hide himself. Like he's like, I can't run into myself. So,
But I'm gonna go to the same funeral
I
where I know he will be.
I know, so dumb. Well, I also don't like this version if it is him because that means that we have to go with it's the same timeline that Cap went back and it's the same timeline, and that it's problematic because that means he sat out a bunch of like really horrible events.
He let so many horrible things happen. And,
Yeah, and he just
then
sat
dated
out.
his like grandniece,
I'm gonna say no, which means that we go with the alternate timeline for Endgame.
which is what the directors say.
So, Narp.
Lastly, Hari asks, what happened to Wakanda in the 5 years that T'Challa was dusted? Was Ramonda trying to run things for 5 years, or was she dusted too?
Okay, so T'Challa and Shuri were dusted.
Okay.
Like, that's for sure. Queen Ramonda and M'Baku are alive for
Right.
sure. They
Okay.
stayed alive. When there's a vacancy in the king role, the leadership role, you do a warrior falls ritual to see who will be the new leader. So it's presumable that M'Baku would try to get that title because he challenged T'Challa in the first
That's right.
place.
He was like the runner-up.
Yeah, he was the runner-up, and he was really close to winning. It's presumable that in T'Challa's absence, he would come back, do it again, and either be totally unchallenged because everyone was like, I saw this last time, like, I'm not, like, you good.
Yeah.
Or he would be challenged but then still win.
Yeah, because he's a badass.
Because he was second place with the whole Killmonger thing in Black Panther and also in the battle against Thanos. Like, he came together in the end and he was like, okay, cool. So he's a hero again.
Yeah, he's respected.
Super pop. Super popular, super pops dude.
Yeah.
And also just like be a stand-up guy and rule for the next 5 years and like hold down the fort.
It'd be interesting if like there's now a power struggle when T'Challa comes back. He's like, you've been gone for 5 years, my friend.
Right.
I've been kicking ass here.
He's like, GDP is up.
Are you sure you want to come back? Because
Yeah.
things were kind of shitty when you were in charge.
He's like, we instituted universal basic income.
We got a couple other dark things. Our human rights violations are awful. But
No,
you know
never
what?
in Wakanda. Never
the
in
trains
Wakanda.
run on time.
The
and that's
trains
what's
run on
important.
time.
All right, well, great.
Oh,
Let's
great.
move on to some mailbag questions.
Oh,
I'm feeling the
yeah.
buzz now.
Yes,
I
yes.
don't have to think about Sonic running too
Murder.
fast, and I'm ready to get personal and weird. Here we go. Cappy Kid asks, do you care about sports?
I do. I grew up in LA. I love the Dodgers. Love the Lakers. I played soccer for like 11 or 12 years, so I like it. I like a lot.
Yeah.
I like it a lot. I like a lot. I like that.
I care about sports.
I like that.
Maybe we should end on you because I do care
not?
about the sports.
You liar.
No, I used to obsess because when I went to college, I went to University of Florida, which that's like we were winning national championships and SEC
great.
championships,
Yeah.
so it's like you had
You
to
have
care,
to, yeah.
and that's all you need if you want to like care about a particular sport. You just pick one team and you obsess over them, and then you learn about everything else in the league, and you learned about the different conferences. So for like a good 6 or 7 years of my life, I did obsess over everything college football, even after I was done with college.
I was gonna say 6 or 7 years. Are you a doctor?
No, you can't be a doctorate, and
You can't be a doctor in Florida? Is that what you're gonna say?
even the doctors there are still guessing. I'm glad they exist, and I should care more about them because I feel like they'd be a nice escape. But it's hard. I can't be an obsessive fanboy and care about analytics,
it's
but
too many
also
things.
track all the Marvel comics and every movie that's coming out. So
Did you play anything?
I was on the swim team in high school, and I did
cool.
karate.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, black belt.
Wow.
I don't remember anything about it.
Oh my
'Cause I
God.
stopped right before I started going through puberty, so my whole body changed and I became awkward, and I never stopped being uncoordinated.
I'll bet it would come back if you were under pressure.
We should test that out. Wet myself. Next question. Julio asks, what's the story behind Erik having a cold sore in his headshot?
Should I go get it?
Yeah, let's go get the headshot
I'll go
to
get it.
show.
You start telling them, I'll go get it.
In a recent episode of Rogue Theory, I won a golden rogie, and off
the
the
first
wall,
time ever.
first time a golden rogie was revealed, and my headshot, for whatever reason, is on the back wall. I think I got the most accurate theory in a past episode, and I realized as I looked at it that I had a cold sore right here on my lip. It's red. It's not flattering, and I don't like this photo one bit. But it's the best photo that I had from that round of photos.
The person who edited your headshots should have taken it out.
They should have, because you do touch-ups. That's part of it. But you
Yeah.
can also see like there is some head acne there. There's some dry skin at the scalp.
They just didn't do any
there's-
sort of good job. They let you take a picture with your collar flipped up like that.
Well,
and
here
this
is
one's
the
down.
story behind it. So one year, Philip and I and a bunch of people from New Rockstars, we all went to VidCon.
Yeah.
We may have met some of you there. I love VidCon. It's wonderful. And one thing that they were doing nice for some of the YouTubers is to take headshots that you can use. And the people taking the headshots were great. They were chill folks, but they're used to dealing with like vloggers.
What does that mean?
They're used to dealing with like lifestyle influencers and people who like it's about their personality.
Okay,
You know, a year and a half ago, I was just like, well, how many more Easter eggs are in Ready Player One? And I would occasionally make jokes, and then people in the comments would be like, stop making jokes, just stick to the facts, asshole. And then I would just, I'm sorry for showing any personality.
Yeah.
So when I go in there, they kind of ask you like, so what kind of
Yeah.
videos do you make? And I'm like, oh, we do like movie analysis and theory videos. And
Yeah.
they're like, so you're a movie critic? And I said, nope. You didn't hear what I said. I do Easter egg videos,
Yeah.
and they're like, haha, so you like watching movies. What's your favorite movie? And I'm like, is this an OK Cupid profile?
And they were like, yes, it is.
Yep. I kind of liked Get Out.
Okay.
And they're like, oh, I didn't see that one. I'm like, who am I talking to?
Yeah.
You didn't see Get Out?
Yeah.
Everyone saw Get Out. The thing is, it's happening in a room in the Anaheim Convention Center where it's this nice, moody light room.
Yeah.
And all the screens are covered with people who previously had their headshots taken in the previous round before you. And they glam you up. They give you these cool jean jackets and other stuff to wear. So it's like, it was another YouTuber who I know, who's a friend of mine, who was covering the screens. He looked more f***able than I've ever seen in my life. He looked great. And I'm like, I cannot wait to have my pictures up on the screen when it's the next turn. They, for whatever reason, they're like, do you ever wear hats? And I'm like, no, not usually. And they're like, well, we have this fedora, we have this other like newsy boy cap that like bald dudes wear. And I'm
But
like,
you're not bald. You have plenty of hair.
plenty of hair, luscious,
You have a
golden
full
locks.
head of golden, lovely hair.
They put me in a fucking hat, and it's this ugly olive green hat that
Oh my God.
clashes with
But
my
there's
skin
no
tone.
hat in this one.
There's no hat. It's one of the few ones that had no hat.
Oh.
And
then you're
so I'm
stuck with this
uncomfortable, and
one.
Philip
Yeah.
is behind the camera laughing because he can see how uncomfortable
Oh
I
my
look, and he's like,
God.
none of these are working.
Yeah.
And they say that they're gonna send you their like best one that they do touch-ups on. 2 weeks later, I get the best one, and it's the one with the f***ing hat where I am frowning and covering my face. That's what they thought was the best, most flattering
Covering
picture.
your
I was
face.
doing this. I was doing this pose. I was so awkward. And then after I was done, they didn't put up any of my photos because clearly I'm uncomfortable. This was the only one that was decent, and that's why it's not touched up because they didn't touch it up. But it's the only one where I don't cringe when I look at it, but I do have a cold sore on my lip. I'm not saying they're bad photographers. I just didn't connect with them. I didn't
I'm
connect
saying
with
they're
them.
bad photographers.
Because other people had great headshots, so clearly they're capable of doing it. It's just I had a disconnect.
Okay, but you don't cover your face in a headshot.
You do if you're a movie critic. Okay, so that's that story. And then we have one more question
Okay.
from Kaylin BC, who asks, what happened to past hosts of New Rockstars like Gabe Howrider and Drew Coolidge? Were they murdered?
Yes.
Yep. I know both those guys. They're friends of mine. We both are friends with Drew. And Gabe I knew in college.
What happened to Gabe?
New Rockstars really scaled down, and we went on like life support for a couple months, so there was just like no more work, and he's like, I'm kind of ready to move on too.
Yeah.
I'm tired of doing this stuff. He has like a wife and a beautiful family, and he's a very smart guy. His wife is a very smart person too. I'm not sure what they're doing, but
Yeah.
like I followed them on social media, and they look like they're having a very happy life. And I'm very happy for them.
Drew Coolidge, I don't know why he stopped doing this. I was on an improv team with him, or still am actually, and I had no idea he did this until you said, also on Big Question, that he got your job and you didn't get it.
I didn't get it.
Which is so funny.
I didn't deserve it.
But he did improv for a long time with me here in LA. He doesn't do that anymore because he's getting a PhD in communications in Texas. And he has a lovely wife who's very funny. She does improv too now. They're hilarious. She's a nurse. It's great. Like they're also thriving.
Yeah, they have dogs.
Yeah, they have dogs. Like it's so funny. And we're just here.
We're here. We're still trapped in the blue dungeon a couple days a week.
Yep.
Trapped in this dungeon more days a week. That dungeon another day of the week.
So
Hey, no regrets, right? We're doing great. We're having fun.
maybe someone will murder us.
Or maybe Sonic will just jog past
Oh
us.
my God.
Blood mosh.
I don't know why
Okay.
I survived.
Yeah. I don't know how we've survived this long.
Up until this point.
Because I've just been drinking paint thinner. Hey, thanks for joining us to this week's episode of The Big Question.
Big Question.
Thank you to Marina for subbing in for Philip. You did a great job. You always do a great job. And Philip will be back next week. And we might have a new special guest joining Philip next week.
Ooh.
It's Tommy.
Yay, Tommy! Oh, father-son episode.
Father-son. Hopefully they figure it out.
They work it out.
It's about time. You can always send us your big questions using the hashtag Big Questions on social media. Follow us at New Rockstars on all social media. Subscribe to New Rockstars here on YouTube. And if you love this show, not just like it, not just comment saying that you love it, share it around to your friends. That's how we got to get the word out on this, because we want to be doing more of this stuff, asking more of these questions, because I love doing this kind of research, even though it scares me. It scares me.
Hey, we should do this again sometime.
All right. And you can get Big Question wherever you get your podcasts. Thanks for joining, and we'll see you next time.
Can we do the Erik pose?
Yeah.
Perfect headshot. Perfect headshot.
Don't look at me!